What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. In today's stream we're going to be playing a little bit more of Taurus Bus Sim and kind of going over a few things which really do concern me at the moment. But like I say, guys, welcome to the stream, welcome to the channel if you're new. Thank you for joining me. But yeah, I hope you're all enjoying your weekend so far. And without further ado, let's just jump straight into it, shall we? Get inside our bus. We're going to be taking the BB40 out for a spin today. Just bought a brand new one. So yeah, hopefully there's no trouble. But yeah, first of all, let's pick us an order up, shall we? And generally just go from there. So let's have a look. Trips. We want to do a trip? No, we don't want to do a trip. These are shuttle services. Okay, we'll do a trip. Screw it. Let's just do this trip short for a minute. And let's skip forward a little bit of time. Hopefully it's daytime. Amazing. Right, let's jump in the old BB40. Hopefully the sat-nav works. It should. There we go. Hopefully the sat-nav comes up. Amazing. But yeah, generally I want to go over something that's been concerning me for a little while now, and it's something which it's been on my mind on quite a frequent basis when I think about, you know, Taurus Bus and its future. Now, of course, they have said that, you know, Taurus Bus is going to be getting the Unreal update, the Unreal 5 update, if not at the same time or shortly after Fernbus for console gets released. Now, in the back of my mind, I'm a little bit concerned, and I think we all have the right to be concerned, just a tiny bit, because I feel that Taurus Bus will be overshadowed by Fernbus quite a lot, and we're talking the console versions here. So I feel that once Fernbus has been released, all of the attention, the spotlight, so to speak, will be lifted away from Taurus Bus, and that really concerns me. Not only for the sake of the game's future, but of course from the development perspective as well, because there are still quite a few bugs, as we all know, that are still here. There are quite a few problems, not only for wheel support but various other bits and pieces as well, which of course we all want answers for, yet we're left with more questions than we get answers. And that's just a general sort of thing that happens these days with this company, this developer. We've all got to kind of accept that now for what it is, because there's just quite simply there's nothing we can do about it. But for my general concern, I feel as if Taurus Bus, it was almost a stepping stone for Fernbus. I feel that this was just a quick sort of test to see whether, you know, Fernbus would essentially work, and use Taurus Bus as a little bit of a guinea pig. Now, of course, this is just my opinion and my speculation alone. Not too sure if many people would agree with me on that. But generally I just feel as if this game is not really going to get the sort of love and attention that it deserves. Now, of course, yes, it is supposedly getting a new upgrade for the Unreal Engine 5, and hopefully that does knock a few dents out the tin. You know, it does work out some of the bugs and the more predominant issues which are surrounding this game. But where does it go from there? Do we just get a visual upgrade and a few bugs worked on, and then that's it? You know, and that is my general concern more than anything, because it's taken so damn long. Even to this day, the game is not working properly, and for them just to kind of sprinkle some glitter over it and then say, right, that's it, job done, it's rather concerning. Now, not to say that I'm completely right in that sense, and yes, I am basing it off of a few things which have happened in the past, but primarily I'm just a bit concerned whether they're actually going to give Tourist Bus the attention that it deserves, now with obviously all these different projects going on. I mean, we haven't received much of an insight as to what's actually supposed to be happening with this Unreal Engine 5, because they've been working so much on the bus and other games like the same. You know, it's a bit up and down, and there's no sort of definitive answer. And I think that about now, us as players, that is exactly what we want. We want some definitive answers. We want some proof. We want a little bit of a heads up as to what is exactly going to happen when it comes to the future of this game. Now, in the past, you know, like I've said, I actually really like this game. I like Tourist Bus, I do like Fernbus, and I like the bus as well. TML, they're not bad for the games which they produce. I think it's more down to the fact that they're not very good at managing the games and pushing out updates for the games which they develop. You know, sort of like an aftercare for the product. It seems very much like they've just, you know, put it out there. It's been accepted by Sony, Microsoft. Microsoft and Sony have agreed that there's nothing wrong with it, blah blah blah, has gone through all the tests and stuff, and it's been pushed out to market, and then all of a sudden all these problems are appearing, and we all want answers, yet we're just not getting them. How's it going, Sniper? Oops. Welcome to the stream, mate. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, but just generally, that's my concern. You know, I mean, the game, when Unreal 5 comes, if it's running and everything's, you know, completely fine, you know, then I have no problems. But it would not be nice to, you know whether there was going to be anything after that. And of course, small steps at a time. We haven't even got the Unreal 5 engine upgrade yet. But it does make you wonder. And I'm just shedding some sort of like thoughts and opinions and just a general concern as to whether this game gets the sort of love and attention that it should have got when Fernbus releases. Now, the only reason why I asked that question is because at the moment it seems as if the bus and Fernbus have taken away the sort of spotlight from Tourist Bus as a way of almost like people are just forgetting, you know, people are accepting and just forgetting the fact that this game still isn't right. And of course we can go over that over and over and over again, and we can speculate and we can say things which may or may not be true. You know, this is just the nature of it, but sadly, without any sort of concrete evidence or proof to support the fact that, you know, this game will be supported the same way that Fernbus and their other games will be supported, I'm finding that very difficult to believe. Very difficult to believe. Yeah, a lot of people probably think, oh, what's this guy got to say? Anything positive about the game? It's just general concern more than anything. You know, it's a tough one. It is a tough one. Let's read the chat a moment. I'm doing fine. I'm content creating. Oh, I'm a content creator myself, and I bring this game to my Twitch channel and YouTube channel soon as I get the next gen console. Oh, nice one, Sniper. Nice one. David Lace. Hi there. When Fernbus comes out on console, I'll be getting it. Yeah, nice one. Nice one. I mean, the thing is, like I say, just because I have an opinion on something doesn't mean to say that I'm, you know, trying to discourage people from purchasing the games, because, you know, ideally they are okay. You know, they are a bit of fun, you know. And when it comes down to it, the driving the buses and stuff, it is a fun experience. That part I have no issue with. The only issues that I have is kind of like the sort of general attitude that comes from development, and how long it takes for them to, you know, process the smallest of patches. And when they do, they don't tell you really anything, do they? Ah, nice one, Sniper. Nice one. Let's say they ain't bad games. They ain't bad games. There's just a few things. There's just been, you know, a few things which are letting it down in general. And of course, the concerns are still there, you know, as to whether these games will be continue to be worked and supported on after this Unreal 5 upgrade. Who knows? We don't know. But it's just sort of general questions that you ask, isn't it? You know, will there be any new content? You know, any new buses? You know, I think that would be pretty cool if there was some more buses included. But that's the point. We just simply don't know at the moment. You know. And I would absolutely hate it, if Fernbus took the limelight and overshadows Tourist Bus, and then Tourist Bus just gets forgotten about. And a side of me thinks that, you know, that's exactly what the developers and the publisher wants to happen. Maybe so that they don't have to necessarily work on this game. You just don't know. But the attitude with itself and the lack of communication, it kind of makes you think, doesn't it? And well, it definitely makes me think anyway. You know, just all in all, just in general, it's just a, like I say, just a little concern of mine, to where I think that maybe, just maybe, because the game is in such a bad way at the moment, that they can shed some light as to what's actually, you know, as to what's actually going on. I think that's a fair comment to make. But let's... oh no, wrong one. That's not the calendar. But yeah, that is just generally it. Yeah, well, that is part of the concern, David. That is part of the concern. How comes the door is... never mind. Yeah, that is a big concern for me. Yeah, it's like the games, they're not bad. You know, they are quite a little bit of fun. You know, especially if you just want to sit back, relax, play a little bit of bussing. You know, drive around the island, do some tours, do what you can, really. That is fun. It's just all the other stuff which is the problem. You know, and the more that you sort of like look at these games and the more you think about these games, the more questions you'll have. And for me, that's all it's really boiled down to. It's just I would like to know sort of what sort of direction this game is really going to take when those things do happen. Because I really don't want to see this game get to a point where it's no longer playable, like at all, and it's just left in a really sad, sorry state. I don't want that to happen. Yeah, it's come in leaps and bounds, hasn't it? What? Lost order. Yeah, this is what frustrates me, because I only just started that order. bit annoying. Do you know, now it's come up, right, what is going on? No idea with that. Well, to be completely honest with you, David, that will all depend on the sort of, see, this is what I'm doing now. Oh, screw it. We'll just continue driving. But to be completely honest with you, David, I think, like I said, it all depends on how the developers kind of handle the game in general, just when it gets initially released. Because of course they are trying a brand new engine, and I don't doubt that there won't be a few things which, you know, generally go wrong with it. You know, there's bound to be a few hiccups along the way. But to be honest, I personally think that they're going to be about the same. There's obviously, it comes down to preference. You know, what you like more. I think it's all subjective. You know, we could... I mean, it's either going to go two ways, right? Everybody that's anticipating Fernbus forgets Tourist Bus, and they just focus on that, which I think the majority of the people are going to do anyway. And then there's going to be a select few people that is going to be a bit upset the fact that, you know, Fernbus is getting a little bit more attention than what Tourist Bus is, and that, you know, Fernbus will be getting more attention in terms of updates and things compared to Tourist Bus because it's the most popular choice out of the two. You know, there's a lot of sort of questions which surround that, and of course the developer are going to go where the people are. You know, that's where they make their money. So the chances are this game, Tourist Bus, will probably just get the Unreal 5 upgrade, and then I can't really see the game going much more forward than that. They'll probably get it up to a state of looking nice, and work out a few of the more predominant issues, and then, you know, that'll be it for it, I think. Which is, I think, is a bit of a sad story, because these games do have a lot of potential, but then you focus on Fernbus, and, you know, when they bring out the next title, whatever they decide to do after that, I'm sure that Fernbus will, you know, sadly be treated the same. Who knows? We like I say, we don't know, but that's the whole point of the title of the video. It's, should we be concerned? And I feel that anybody that really wants to play Tourist Bus and, you know, wants Tourist Bus to do well in the future, I think we've really got to start asking ourselves some questions, you know. Like I've always said, I really want these games to do well, and I have spoken negatively and I have spoken positively about this game, you know, but it all comes for a good place. I just want these games to do the best that they can, but I also want the developer to be a little bit more transparent, you know, and I want them to kind of give us a little bit of an indicator as to what's going on, rather than leaving us in the dark to kind of argue amongst ourselves and sort of speculate on what we think is going to happen. You know, based on the sort of information and sort of the general sort of attitude that we've received so far, you know, and when I say attitude, I mean is like their demeanour, the sort of the way that they approach answering and informing the player base on the decisions that they're planning on making for the future of their games. They're very vague. Excuse me. I did have Fernbus on Steam on my laptop, and it had so many bugs and glitches. That's why I'm hoping that Fernbus will be better on console. But as you say, preferences to which one you go for. Well, I can safely say to you, David, that if you look at the way that Tourist Bus was ported over from the PC version, the Fernbus for PC is still problematic. It's still got quite a few significant bugs within the game, and because it's a port, the chances are a lot of the issues which are in Fernbus currently for the PC you're going to see in the console version. There's no two ways about that, I don't think, because a lot of the assets, a lot of the things which they use will be copy and pasted. There's no denying that. How's it going, Cristiano? Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, just that's just a general concern of mine, and it's been that way for a little while now. You know, the biggest piece of evidence that I can give you as to what's been copied and pasted, you've only got to look at the bus that I'm driving now, the BB40. Now, on Fernbus, you have that issue where the throttle controls the side door on the bus, and the sat nav doesn't work, and the indicators don't work. You know, it's got a mind of its own. Well, it does exactly the same thing on Tourist Bus as well, because it's just a straight up copy and paste from one game to the next. The game that the bus looks, drives and sounds the exact same, so I wouldn't expect anything different. You know, yeah, it does come down to preference, but there are a lot of factors. Like, I know for a fact there's not going to be any wheel support. And when I say wheel support, I mean as if, you know, there will be wheels that are supported. But in terms of wheel settings, I know that there's not going to be any options to choose from, like adjusting force feedback or anything like that. It's just going to be a bog standard one setting only. You know, so these are the things which I would like to know, but unfortunately, you know, they just don't fill us in too much. I think they just do that to protect their own back, to be honest. You know, if they say they're going to do something and then don't fulfill the promise, it just makes everyone, you know, angrier than what they already are. Nice to hear, Cristiano. Yeah, it's good to see you back. I don't even think that this is a proper order, you know. But, oh well. Nothing wrong with a drive and a talk. But I think in terms of like a general sense, you know, a lot of things could quite easily be answered. And for me, because they aren't being answered, that's kind of it's a big red flag, because it just sort of like, how do I put it? It sort of clarifies my concerns. You know, if they say, oh yeah, right, this will be done, this will be sorted, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, yep, that'll be fixed in the Unreal 5 engine upgrade, yep, that's going to be done, that's going to be done, then it wouldn't be so much of a problem. The problem is that all they've said to us is that it's getting an Unreal 5 upgrade. It doesn't really leave much in terms of information, does it? Or at least it doesn't for me anyway. Of course we've got the general sort of things to expect, but you know, it's kind of hard to believe sometimes things that come out of certain people's mouths, you know. especially when they've got a really bad reputation for not fulfilling promises and not keeping to their word anyway. Do you know what I mean? So it makes it the task and the process even more difficult. Generally, it just becomes a bit of a pain in the ass, you know, it becomes a bit of a headache. People don't like it when I talk negatively about these games. I know that. But the truth of the reality is that, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of other people that play this game, you know, that quite happily blow smoke up people's asses, you know. But I'm not, unfortunately, I'm not a person to do that, you know. Doesn't look too bad in the rain though, does it? Fabian told me yesterday that the bus is going to be ported after the end of the second EA phase. Well, that'll be interesting to see. And David says, and this is down to Fabian to keep us gamers updated on a regular basis, but in my eyes don't think he's doing things in the right way. Well, the problem is, and I completely agree with you there, David, I think the problem with Fabian is that when he sees the money signs, he just crawls out of the woodwork. If there's a technical problem or there's a genuine question by one of the players from the community, and they ask what's going on, just asking very sort of straightforward questions, you just don't get answered. And it's one of two reasons: either he doesn't want to answer, or he can't answer on the basis that he just doesn't know. But everything that Fabian has said about this game to date, the things that he said were going to be fixed and were going to be improved upon, nothing's been done. Consoles are still not running on the same version, or at least have got the same core elements functioning, like the luggage, which was said which would be fixed, you know, at the same time as well. Proven it hasn't been, and it still hasn't been fixed. You know, so let's have a look. He said that also on the road that new trucks would be coming, but never happened. Yes, he did as well, yeah. Cristiano, you're right there. He did. I distinctly remember him saying that new trucks were going to come to that game, and instead of trucks coming, I think we got a radio. So, you know, does make you wonder, doesn't it? Now, of course, we have to look at these things in somewhat of a realistic sense in terms of development, you know, resources, money, all that kind of stuff. You know, we get that, you know, but I mean, when it comes down to it, sort of basic communication and customer service skills towards your player base should be a 101 anyway. You know, we shouldn't have to beg and plead for any or tiny ounces of information, if any at all, for a game which we've already paid our money for. It's like a half-baked game bought, and now we're kind of left in the dark wondering what's going to happen and as to whether our purchase was really worth it or not. We're left asking that question quite a lot, I would imagine. And unfortunately, if you are a massive enthusiast of this game and games like it, it is a very sort of bitter pill to swallow when you're enthusiastic about it and you've got a lot of people talking negatively about it, but at the same time we've got to be unbiased of this situation, because if we don't speak the truth and if we don't make these sort of concerns apparent and aware to them, then they're just going to keep doing what they're doing, whether people will like it or not. That's just something that these guys really need to brush up on, I think. David says, let's hope he starts to sort out all the bugs and glitches on both games, even Truck Driver and On the Road. I don't think... No, Fabian isn't behind Truck Driver, David. But On the Road, the answer has already been sort of confirmed. They don't intend on updating that game or progressing with On the Road at any point in the future, which is a shame. But in terms of getting all the bugs fixed, I don't think that's quite going to happen. And the general concern that I have, and I've always had with this developer, this publisher, is that when they bring a new game out or port a new game, it tends to be in a really bad way. And it takes them forever to fix the issues and address the issues which a lot of people are concerned about and make them aware of. Now, before bringing out another port or working on a new title, or porting Fernbus, for example, surely they should really think about getting the game which they've already published up to a working standard of where these bugs are no longer apparent. But the problem is they've done the complete opposite. Instead of working on this game the way that they said they was going to, and update it the way they said they was going to, they've decided to port another PC game to console. Lots of things being said, and a lot of promises yet again being made. Excuse me. And like I said, a lot of promises being made. The problem is, everything that has been said so far has yet to be seen or delivered on. So it really boils down to how much you can believe as a person when it comes to purchasing any more of their games. That this is it. The antics, the way that they work and operate, and that they're not very popular for their console ports, and generally not very popular for the games which they produce. And unfortunately the pattern is still there, because they're yet to deliver on anything that they've really said that they were going to do. Yes, indeed, I know. It doesn't matter at all when people ask him, I've installed On the Road, it's a joke on Xbox. Yeah. I mean, honestly, how can this guy be like this one time, super excited, and then he lets us down? Well, it's all down to money, I'm afraid. All down to money. I feel that Fabian's passion is very much dictated by his pocket, and we only seem to hear from him when there's some PR thing going on, or whether there's some new news about a title, a game that's coming that he can really make money off of, and generally that's it. I mean, it would make anybody happy, wouldn't it, really? Another opportunity to get a bunch of money from people, and he doesn't really have to deal with the backlash, because at the end of the day he can just point the finger and say that it's the console porter's fault, or he could say it's the developer's fault, or say it's nothing to do with him because he's not part of the development team. He basically just denies any sort of accountability and responsibility for a thing that he's put his name on. Yeah, and then coincidentally, when people get to a point of where they're asking so much for updates and things, turns out they're all on holiday. Every single time when there's a big issue with the game, nobody can do a single thing about it because they're all on holiday. And like I said, to this point, those things still haven't been fixed. It's a shame, really, because there are good elements of these games, you know. And to be fair, at one point, yes, I did absolutely love this game, you know, and there's a part of me that still does. You know, I still like driving around the island. I like picking the passengers up. I like enjoying the weather, sort of general atmosphere and vibes. Driving different buses. You know, it can be a lot of fun, but it's just it can reach a bit of a stale point. You know, just like anything. And when things are going wrong dramatically, people can't play the game properly. It kind of steals that sort of feeling from you, you know, disheartens you. Yeah, and then when you message him and ask him, you know, oh, I'm a really big supporter of your game, you know, I just wanted to know, is there any information about the next update? Something like that. You enthuse and you tell him how much you appreciate the work that they've done with the game and all this sort of stuff, just for him not to respond to you or just to give you a generic answer of, there's no information right now, but we will pass your concerns on to the development team, which you know for full well that that's not going to happen, because there are so many people that ask the same questions on a daily basis. Sad, really. And I just had a big concern, really, because of course now that Fernbus is on the horizon for console, you know, and Tourist Bus is still in the state that it's in, you know, people are going to buy Fernbus. It's going to overshadow Tourist Bus. The people that enjoy Tourist Bus more than Fernbus are going to be extremely disappointed, because I have a sneaky suspicion that this game is just going to be neglected. It's going to get a few sparkles, you know, a few sprinkles scattered around here and there. It's going to be made to look a little bit better, but generally I think in terms of performance and the way that the game actually handles, I don't really think there's going to be any sort of general major improvements which is going to revolutionise it. But like I say, I really appreciate you guys coming in. I hope you've all enjoyed your weekend so far. You know, what you all up to this Sunday? You all just chilling out, relaxing? Got any decent games on the go? Can't see a damn thing. Yeah, that is another big concern as well, isn't it, Christiana? Because, of course, Fernbus is for the Series S, X and PS5. So, it's not coming out for all the older gen consoles. But the fact that the Series S will be limited to 30 frames instead of 60, I don't understand how they're going to do that. But then I highly doubt that the Xbox Series X and PS5 are going to be running at a solid 60 frames anyway. It'd probably be fairly close, but I don't think it'll be anything sort of like major to kind of notice, you know. I mean, I actually read a little comment which somebody made on the latest Fernbus video for consoles through the Sim Next, and some guy asked if anybody thinks that that version for consoles is going to look any remotely close to the PC version, they can forget it, because you need such a the PC version of Fernbus is such a demanding game to play that even the PC side of it doesn't look that good. And I think Fabian's response was, well, that's probably because your PC is crap. I'm like, how could you that's not very professional, is it? You can't say things like that to people. The bloke was really expressing his general concerns about it, and like informing people, you know, that these are the things you really need to be aware of, because like I said before, I don't believe for a second that the Fernbus version that he's saying is on an Xbox dev kit is actually true. I think it's a PC version all the way. Even the mouse and stuff can be seen being used, and you know, he says, oh well, that's because you can use a mouse and keyboard through the Xbox dev kit, but there's no other proof to support that he's actually on the Xbox, an Xbox version. Yeah. But he can't use a PS5 version or showcase a PS5 version because apparently there's no dev kit to support mouse and keyboard for PlayStation. So I don't know what you guys want to think on how you want to take that, but it's a bit strange, isn't it? Either way, for my expectations for Fernbus for console, they're not very high, because of how things have been handled already. Generally, it's not really reassuring, is it, at the basis of where we are at now. I mean, I mean, for me personally, I would believe him more if everything that they've said that they were going to do with this game had already been done, and then they announced Fernbus port for console. It would be a little bit more reassuring in that sense, because then at least you would know the things which he is saying, you have a little bit of evidence behind it to support what he's saying. But we just don't at the moment. That is the issue. Oh. Also, I hope that with this new Unreal Engine 5 upgrade, that the passengers are a little bit more sort of fluid. Because the way they get on and off the bus is a little bit... it's a bit meh, innit? It's not too sort of impressive. Right, I think that's everybody. even if they was to reach out, excuse me, even if they was to reach out to, oh man, to another developer, or you know, somebody that could kind of help and take a little bit of slack, you know, off of them, you know, something that someone knows what they're doing. You know, I think that would be a good call, but yet again, that's a money thing, so that's not going to happen. Yeah, Christiana, this is the problem though. It's like the YouTuber GameTech UK. A lot of people will be aware of him, but he had a very similar relationship to with Fabian as what a lot of other people are now having, and you know, there was a lot of promises and things, and you know, early development. The game looked really good. It looked promising. But when the game was released and then it was just lie upon lie and failed promise upon failed promise, you know, fair play to GameTech. He stuck it to his ground and he said to him that, you know, this is not on, and it's just a waste of time and money, in other words, putting it politely. I think the biggest problem, and I think this is where it stems from quite a bit, is the fact that there aren't very many simulation games for console. And I think that's where it comes down to, because there's not a lot of variety on console at the moment. Obviously, when you hear the likes of Fernbus and things come into console, everyone is well within their right to get excited about it. But the excitement and the hype kind of makes you blind to the reality that, you know, these games aren't very you know, aren't very well looked after. They aren't very well maintained, and it's just a bit of a shambles. And I think it's not really the game's fault, it's the management and the development behind it. If they cannot get a simple fix out to stop people from losing their save data, you have to ask questions. You can't deny that it's not there, because it is there and it's ruining people's experience. And I just don't understand how some people can just be negligible of that fact, you know? I can imagine that Fernbus needs a high-end PC, but still calling someone's PC crap is not very professional. But hey, it's Fabian, he can say that. Well, that's it. Well, the thing is, if Fabian doesn't want to be spoken to or treated in an ugly, negative manner, then, you know, he needs to watch what he says more than anything. How's it going, G-Song? Welcome to the stream, mate. Hope you're doing well. You know, I'm just glad that this game has wheel support now, because I can assure you playing it with a controller is not fun. It's not fun at all. I mean, oh goodness me. I mean, it's okay, but it's not brilliant. And if you noticed for his Fernbus video, because playing with controllers was a really big problem for this game when it initially released. And you've noticed now that one of the key pieces of information which he says in his video, he says that the controller support has been improved upon. He also says that there's not going to be as many options on the console side of it in comparison to PC. So for me, that kind of answers my question about the whole, is there going to be settings for wheel support, stuff like that. Well, you can take that information and you know, read it however you want to read it, but for me that clearly says that there will be no force feedback settings, and we're just going to get I mean, you know, you're just going to get a bog standard, heavy sort of dull steering support as what you get for this game, for Tourist Bus. Let's have a look. Let's read the chat. Nope, still no update about the game, G-Song. Conspiracy Kitty, I was surprised when Tourist Bus was only for PS5. I can't afford one, and they are hard to find, and I'm a PC gamer mainly anyway. Well, fair enough. I mean, I think when I got my PS5, that was the most disappointing thing. You know, you buy it and you're excited to try out all these new games, well, all the games that you've already played, but just to see if they run or perform any better, and the reality of it is that it's a bit disappointing, really. There's nobody taking advantage of the hardware that's actually on, you know, the PlayStation and the Xboxes at the moment when it comes to sim games, so... Stacey Daniels, hello, no offence, but I think you're in the Guinness Book of World Records for taking on this subject. Appreciate the passion. Well, it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Like, I really, really want these games to do well, you know, and I feel the only way, because you can't get an answer from the developer, you can't get an answer from the publisher. So it's almost like I come on to streams to talk to you guys to kind of almost justify in a way of how I'm feeling. You know, I mean, like, I can't be the only one that has these general concerns. Bit of a headache, isn't it? Bit of a nightmare. Oh, but it is what it is. Oh, wobbly wobbly. You're not watching the World Cup now. I don't watch football, G-Song. But yeah, I mean, this is just me talking, you know, venting off the way that I feel about it. Of course, it is subjective, you know. People don't have to watch if they don't want to. You know, it's just something that I'm going to do because I want to do it, you know. I ain't going to stop because people don't like it. That's fine. Yeah, absolutely, Stacey. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just a way of me being able to connect with the community as well. You guys, that, you know, people like the same, that enjoy playing these games but are just a bit frustrated with obviously the ins and outs of everything that really goes on backstage as well. Let's pause it a minute before I crash. You like basketball? To be fair, G-Song, I don't really watch an awful lot of TV. I just go by the philosophy of the closer you are to nature, the further you are away from idiots. You know, so I'm quite heavily into my agricultural side of things. You know, I like tending my own gardens, my own fruit and veg, all that kind of stuff. And I like being constructive. These streams are literally just a downtime, like a side hobby for me. Other than that, there's not really much else going on. Christiana, I appreciate you so much for making these streams, because all the time I play Tourist Bus since May on Xbox, and I'm asking myself the same questions. Yeah, no, well, I appreciate the fact that you enjoy the streams, you know. I mean, the reality of it is, right, is that even if nobody was in the stream and talking, I would still be making the same videos. Whether nobody watches it or anything like that, I would still be venting the same concerns, whether people are interested in it or not. You know, that's just the way it is. Yes, of course I can be somewhat critical sometimes, and I can be blunt and extremely honest, but you know, I mean, sometimes I sit there and wish I had somebody telling me that it was a waste of money, and I wish that I'd never bought it, you know. I wish I had somebody guiding me and informing me about what's wrong with something. Nowadays, you don't usually find out until after you bought it, do you? Because you can't go on cinematics anymore. Trailers are full of cinematics. So to get a general verdict, you know, I've seen some absolutely beautiful cinematic trailers for games, absolutely stunning, and then when it comes to the gameplay, you're like, well, what happened? You know, it didn't look like that in the trailer. It's because, you know, they're very good at mis-selling you things which aren't true. Yeah, Conspiracy Kitty, that is not your fault. That is just down to the poor optimization of these games. That's all it comes down to. So basically, because these games are so hardware demanding on PC, that if you don't have something tanky enough to run it, you will run into problems where, you know, you have errors, crashes, or it just randomly minimizes without you even touching or doing anything. You know, that is just poor optimization on the development part. But it's okay, because Unreal 5 engine is coming soon. And it'll all be sorted out. Oh, I forgot they're all trying to get on, aren't they? Whoops. Are they gonna get on or what? Or have they all just got off? Do you know what? I just don't care. They can stand in the rain. It might be worth looking at the settings then that you're running your games at, Conspiracy Kitty, because you might want to try running them in lower settings, because it sounds to me like that's just the game just bottoming out because it just can't keep up with doing what you're doing. I mean, I'm no computer expert by any stretch of the imagination, but alright, let's read the chat a minute. What do you think about the leak on 90 videos of GTA 6? I mean, it must be terrible for the people working on it to see their work be treated like that. To be honest, you know, when it comes to GTA, I mean, the game was good, the games were good, I suppose, but unfortunately, in today's standard, with everything that's going on with microtransactions and everything like that, I don't know. At the end of the day, they're a multi-billion-dollar company. If they can't keep their games a secret, then they need to double down on doing what they're doing, don't they, really? I tried window full mode and full screen and they always still minimize. I don't know, maybe somebody in the chat can help you out. I mean, I can't say that I've ever had that problem. But generally it must be something to do with maybe the settings that you're running, or it could be something of that nature. What console are you playing Tourist Bus Simulator? So right now, Sniper, I'm actually playing this on the PC. I do have it for the PS5 as well, but for the PS5 version I've lost my game save file a good 4 or 5 times now, and I just got absolutely fed up of doing that tutorial. Just kept running into the same issues over and over and over again. You know, even thought restarting the game would make a difference, and then it was going okay, and then all of a sudden it just wasn't again, so I just give up with it. You think the GTA 6 leak was done on purpose? It's like commercial for them. Most people looking into it now. Yeah, oh god. You're probably not wrong. You're probably not wrong. I mean, there was probably some sense of a deliberate ploy there to kind of get people hyped up about it. But then the hype for GTA 6 has always been quite high in demand anyway. You know, every time there's a new DLC or summer update for GTA 5, it's like, where's GTA 6? So I don't think they need any more sort of like PR for it, do they? I just don't know. I don't know how they're supposed to one-up GTA 5. I suppose they can make it look nicer, but by doing that, everything else goes up, doesn't it? And then it'll probably only come out for the next gen consoles and stuff. The chances are, Christiana, everything that you've probably seen in that trailer, all the leaks, will probably be changed so drastically that it wouldn't make a difference as to whether people was to see it or not. Probably conspiracy, yeah, probably. That is the most accurate sign I have ever seen in this game. That is absolutely spot on. Game over. Walking in this game must be an absolute nightmare as well, like on the sidewalks, you know, like the pavements for pedestrians, because you've got literally all of the cars parked on the pavement. Read the chat. Haha, that was the name of one of my guilds made on Warcraft. Game over. About tourist bus is really hard because I love this game, but at the same time the fact that luggage is not working makes a repetitive scenario, you know, just playing the same game mode, so I'm really confused. Well, this is it, isn't it? I mean, for me, I sit there and think to myself, how can you promise so many other things come into a game when you still the core element of the game still doesn't even work properly? Like, that is just such a headache. I mean, like you said, G-Song, doing the same things over and over again, it gets so repetitive, so stale, that you're just like, you want to appreciate the game, you want to enjoy it, but you just simply can't. And you know, that's why I make these videos, that's why I do these streams, you know, so we can all kind of come together and essentially bash it, but constructively, you know. Oh my goodness. Free girls chat, eh? I don't think so. Tourist bus is fun, just right hand turns are a bit tricky. I always seem to hit a vehicle no matter how careful I am. Well, see, I'm exactly the same, Conspiracy, but I've pinned it down to the fact that the buses and should I say the coaches and stuff probably weren't properly tested. So it's extremely difficult to go around in one of the coaches without hitting at least one thing. You know, I always hit stuff, take people's bins out a lot. You know, sometimes it just feels like the buses are too big to go down the streets. You know, but like I say to people, and I've held up my end of the bargain so far. You know, ever since I started making these tourist bus videos, I always said that I'd keep people informed. I'd always said that I would express my concerns in the way that I feel about it. You know, and here I am today, doing exactly that. Yeah, Stacy, they are stupidly narrow. That's why I prefer driving the smaller buses. You know. Right, that is everybody by the look of it. Agree, Stacy. Furthermore, there aren't traffic lights out. Yeah, that's a bit strange as well. I don't know if anybody actually knows, because obviously this is a real island. I wonder if there are actually traffic lights. I mean, I would imagine there is traffic lights on the real island. Sniper King, do you know if you can use keyboard and mouse on the console version? What of Tourist Bus? I'm not entirely sure, actually. But then I don't see as to why you would want to use it anyway, because there's no button mapping. You can't do any key bindings or anything like that for the console version. The settings are so limited that you wouldn't even need to justify using a mouse and keyboard for it, to be completely honest with you. But it does make me wonder, yeah. So, of course, where I was playing Tourist Bus on the PS5, I had all those issues. Now, when I went over to the PC side of it, bought the game again, the whole idea was to test it to see whether there was any dramatic differences. And the PC version compared to the console version is like night and day. The settings that are available on the PC side are everything that the console player wants. I've had no real performance issues, game save issues, or anything like that, so I can enjoy Tourist Bus without any sort of hiccups, major hiccups on the PC. I think the console port, there was a lot of settings, a lot of things which get lost in translation to allow the game to run smoother, and because they've had to limit and sort of boil it down a bit for it to be supported and for it to run smoothly on consoles, I think in those sort of fractures, that's where we're getting these really bad issues. Let's have a look. Tourist bus is only built for controllers on consoles. Yeah. But that's what made me laugh about what Fabian said when he was showcasing the Fernbus video. You know, someone pointed out that he was using a mouse. You know, and then he said, "Oh well, because the Xbox dev kit supports mouse and keyboard." You know, evidently the guy was showing a PC, a high-spec PC version of Fernbus and trying to power it off like it's the Xbox version, and someone called him out on it, and he got his knickers in a twist. You know, so I mean, it just speaks volumes, doesn't it? It speaks volumes. What are you supposed to do? There's no point arguing with him. You know, but like I said, when it comes down to it, I think that anybody that really plays, anyone that really plays Tourist Bus, I think that we generally do have to be concerned when Fernbus comes out, because I feel that Fernbus is going to shadow over this game a little bit, and I don't think it's going to get the love and attention and, you know, the DLC or content that it really deserves after that fact. We shall definitely see. We shall definitely see. It's a tough one because, of course, we don't know until it arrives, but, you know, with the state of the game that it's currently in at the moment, we're only left to think like that, personally. Yeah, Stacy. Yeah, I remember as well. Yep. Yep, sadly. But it's just down to the same things. It literally just down to the same things, Stacy. The moment that it comes down to people speaking honestly about certain states of games, about games which people that really like play day in day out, and, you know, refuse to kind of accept that there is anything wrong with their games, you know, the moment that one person kind of steps up and says, well, hold on a minute, that's not right, and expresses their concerns to an audience, they seem to get very, very funny about it. City Driver will soon come out on Steam. Will you make a review? Oh, I don't see why not. I mean, like I've always said, I am always looking for new simulation games to bring to the channel, just to kind of just get a general feel and just gauge and try something new. You know, I'm always up for it. You know, so like I say, if there are any suggestions, then fire away. Do have a Discord channel as well. We'll leave the link in the description. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I mean, for tourist buses as a general, for Fernbuses in general, I think that anybody that's sort of remotely questioning as to what's going on and sort of which direction these games are really going to take over the next few months, has the right to ask those questions. And I feel that at the end of the day, we're all entitled to an opinion because we've all bought this game with our own money, you know. So either way, there's going to be a make or break at some point in these games' future, and if the developer doesn't continue to maintain and to improve its communication with its player base, then it's going to be a sad state of affairs. There's no two ways about it. I'm waiting for the Taxi Simulator coming out on Steam, but no dates given. I still have yet to be able to afford all the Fernbus DLCs. Ah, fair enough, Conspiracy. Yeah. See, I thought about playing OMSI 2, but I don't know. I think the game's graphically it's a bit outdated now. A bit outdated. I'm bemused that this development team, who ain't used to developing for consoles, don't go down the preview program where it tests the games during development. Well, Stacey, that is part of the problem, isn't it? It's the lack of testing. And simply because, you know, money is a very powerful controlling thing, there's next to no testing at all for these games, sadly. There are so many different channels that they could take, so many different routes that they could take to improve. And let's face it, if they want to continue making simulation games, they have to improve. They can't just keep doing the copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, you know, chucking the same excuses one after the other at people, because people wise up to it. And I think that's exactly what's happening. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely conspiracy. I've been into the Truckers MP. I played that last night on the channel. You know, it was quite a bit of fun. Um, but of course, I will put out another poll to see what games you guys want to see for later on stream. Um, but yeah, I think I've said what I can really say about this. You know, I think I'm going to wrap it up for the moment. Like I say, I do hope that you enjoy these videos. Sorry if I nag a bit, and sorry if I go on a bit, but this is just the way that I feel generally, and I wanna share my views with everybody. You know. But yeah, like I say, guys, I really appreciate you all coming in. Absolute pleasure as always. But until next time, you guys take it easy, stay safe, and hopefully I'll catch you all later in the next one. Take it easy, guys.